So would he have gone to jail at the end of the film Seven? Because you remember how the film ended, right? With him taking out the bad guy, but it wasn't self-defense at all? Let's look at the details. This is the 30th anniversary of that film, and somebody on Reddit said, lawyers of Reddit, in the movie, how likely is it that Detective Mills, that's Brad Pitt's character, would go to prison? And the replies were all from non-lawyers saying, no way. But I would legitimately like an answer if somebody out there has knowledge. If you don't remember the movie, it's basically a precursor to the Saw films, where there's a psychopath played by Kevin Spacey who is setting up these elaborate torture ceremonies for various victims. And they're all based on the 7 deadly sins, like greed, pride, wrath, gluttony. So the victim he determined was guilty of gluttony, he tied him down and forced him to eat himself to death. So you've got the two detectives played by Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman going from crime scene to crime scene, trying to piece this together and figure out who's behind it. They eventually figure out that they have got 5 victims, which means there are 2 deadly sins left: envy and wrath. At which point there's a big shocking twist where the killer turns himself in. And here's where I should mention that Detective Mills, Brad Pitt's character, is married. His wife is played by Gwyneth Paltrow, and she just found out she is pregnant. So the killer, Kevin Spacey's character, says he will take them to a location to show them the final 2 victims. A delivery driver meets them out there and hands them a small cardboard box. And that box contains the severed head of Detective Mills' wife. Kevin Spacey's character says he committed that crime out of envy, that he is the one guilty of that sin. And it becomes clear that he is trying to get him to kill him to commit the final sin of wrath. Morgan Freeman's character begs him not to do it, but he does it anyway, and the last thing we see is him being loaded into a police car. And it seems to imply that he is going to prison for murder, because after all, the suspect was unarmed and in chains. He cannot in any way argue self-defense or any kind of temporary insanity. But is there any kind of a provision in the law for that kind of spur-of-the-moment revenge, justified revenge? Because it seems like it would have been very different if he had left and then a year later had tracked him down as some sort of premeditated plan. This was done in the spur of the moment. So if you are out there and you have some actual knowledge of the law, would he have a leg to stand on? Are there any similar cases out there? And before you ask, no, we do not know what state they were in. It never says.